Good afternoon, Sir Johannes and friends. We are from Group 3, want to present our work about pain and present tense. Before we present our work, let me introduce the member of Group 3. First, Resvalda Herdita Kusdia Putri. Second, Handini Zahra Utrami. Third, Ahmad Muhyiddin. Fourth, Stella Gracia Jessica Rapali. Fifth, Patrick Venezia Lipati. And sixth, Triwirdiarti. Next. Next. Conversation type of pain. Practice these following dialogues with your colleagues. Sue and Fiona are nursing students. They are talking about several types of pain which is essential for every nurse. Here's their conversation.
What are you reading, Fiona?
I'm reading an article about types of pain.
Really? We learned it last week, right?
That's true, but I'm still confused with this. Look.
Acute and chronic pain?
Yes, they are different, aren't they?
Yes, acute pain is associated with a new onset on pain. It is normally associated with injury. Chronic pain is persisting pain that has lasted over 3 months. That's what I remember.
I see. So, suspends are classified based on the duration, right?
That's right.
What about a nociceptive pain?
It's a little easier to explain. Nociceptive pain is caused by the activation of nociceptors in the body by nociceptors or potentially harmful stimuli. Activation of these receptors leads to an action potential and the propagation of nervous message to the central nervous system and brain.
Got that. How can you remember all of those theories too?
I always review the materials at home.
Two, the nurse role in pain management. Next. Pain management is an integral part of nursing, and every nurse has a responsibility to effectively manage the patients. Pain this does not always mean the use of an analgesic. Effective pain management can be holistic in its approach. The key is to have a regimen that is safe, practical, and feasible in the outpatient setting. Next. 3. What is pain? Next. Essentially, pain is the result of a signal sent from the peripheral nerves to the brain. This signal is in effect a survival mechanism that allows one to know that the situation is not conducive to homeostasis. Sometimes the signal continues, and this equates to chronic pain. Pain, whether acute or chronic, can change one's life, but remember that whatever that intensity, there are treatment options, and we as nurse have a responsibility to present these options to our patients. We also have the responsibility to ensure that patients are provided with pain management education, to ensure that pain management problems are documented and that implemented treatment modalities along with their corresponding results are recorded.
4. Strategies of pain management. Managing our patient pain cannot simply be equated with the administration of an analgesic. As you intervene in pain management, consider the following strategies which can in fact be helpful. One, consult with the other members of the care team. Two, collaborate with pharmacy. Three, encourage follow-up care. Four, teach lifestyle strategies. Five, keep a pain diary. Six, keep an activity record. Seven, physical treatment and or occupational therapy. Eight, present activities to relieve pain. Nine, discuss the importance of rest. 10, consider dietary change.
Word power words connected with pain. Next. Acute pain, rasa sakit akut. To ankle, pergelangan kaki. Appendix, usus buntu. Backshi, sakit punggung. Bladder, kandung kemih. Brain, otak. Bruise, memar. Burn, luka bakar. Chronic pain, rasa sakit kronik. Colon, usus besar. Cramp, kejang atau kram. Konsisten, tetap. Cut, luka karena sesuatu yang tajam. Frequent, sering atau berkali-kali. Gallbladder, kantong empedu. Getting better, semakin membaik. Getting worse, semakin memburuk. Headache, sakit kepala. Next. Heart, jantung. Intestine, usus. Kidney, ginjal. Kidney stone, batu ginjal. Liver, hati. Lokal anestesik. Bius lokal. Lung, paru-paru. Migrain. Mild, ringan. Moderate, sedang. Nerve, urat saraf. Occasional, kadang-kadang. Pain, rasa sakit. Pain management, pengelolaan rasa sakit. Painful, menyakitkan. Painkiller atau analgesik. Obat penghilang rasa sakit. Painless, tanpa rasa sakit. Rectum, dubur. Severe, parah. Signal, sinyal atau tanda. Slight, sedikit. Next. Small, intestine, usus halus. Sore, luka. Short, sakit tenggorokan. Staying the same, tetap sama. Stomach, perut. Stomach ache, sakit perut. Stoop, menyandung. Throat, berdenyut-denyut atau rasa sakit. Tissue damage, kerusakan jaringan. Toothache, sakit gigi. Transitory, sementara. Tumor.
Reading time. Read the following article, then answer the question. Types of pain by Sally Robertson. There are two main types of pain, known as nociceptive pain and neuropathic pain. Physiogenic pain is other term that is sometimes used to describe cases to pain. Although this is not an official diagnostic term, alternatively, pain can be classified according to the duration of the pain as acute, chronic, or breakthrough pain. One, nociceptive pain. Nociceptive pain is caused by the activation of nociceptors in the body by noxious or potentially harmful stimuli. Activation of these receptors leads to an action potential and the propagation of nervous message to the central nervous system and brain. This type of pain is a normal response of the body to potential harm and serves to help protect from dangers that are encouraged. It can be acute or chronic in nature depending on the specific case and the cause of the pain. Nociceptive pain can be further classified into subtypes as visceral pain.
A. Somatic. Somatic pain originates from pain receptors located on the surface of the body or in the musculoskeletal tissue. This type of pain is usually localized to a certain area of the body and often worsens with activity but is relieved by periods of rest. The visceral pain. Visceral pain refers to pain that is resulted from pain receptor located in the internal organs within a cavity of the body. This type of pain is usually described as a deep, pressure-like feeling that is not localized to a certain point in the body. 2. Neuropathic pain. Neuropathic pain is caused by injury to the nerves that are involved in the propagation of electrical signal that send message of pain from the receptors to the brain. This type of pain is typically described as a sharp, shooting pain that is often more intense. There are various causes of nerve damage and resulting neuropathic pain, including certain infection, diabetes, and some surgical procedures. Next. Pathogenic pain. Additionally, pathogenic pain is another term that is sometimes used to describe pain. This is not an official diagnostic term for pain, but it's sometimes used to describe pain that is associated with some degree of psychological disturbance. This may include anxiety, depression, stress that may be a consequence of or have a causative effect on the pain. Fourth, acute, chronic, or breakthrough pain. An alternative method to classify the type of pain is by the duration of the pain. By this classification, pain may be acute, chronic, or breakthrough as described below. A. Acute pain is a normal and temporary response that alerts the body to injury the body. This type of pain can vary greatly in intensity, and the need for and type of treatment can therefore differ according to the individual case. B. Chronic pain continues for longer than acute pain is often defined as any pain in the body that lasts for 12 weeks or more. It can persist for extended periods of time without improvement or apparent utility for the body. C. Breakthrough refers to episodes of acute pain that occur when taking analgesic medication to manage chronic pain. This type of pain breaks through the effect of pain relief for a short period of time. Next. Next.
Accused reading. Read the following article, then answer the question. Next. Cause of phantom limb pain in amputated and potential treatment identified. Date October 27, 2016. Research have identified the cause of chronic and current untreatable pain in those with amputation and serve nerve damage, as well as a potential treatment which relies on engineering intents of drugs. Research have discovered that regular organization of the wearing of the brain is the underlying cause of phantom limb pain, which occurs in the vast majority of individuals who have had limb amputated, and a potential method of treating it which use artificial intelligence technique. The research, led by a group from Osaka University in Japan in collaboration with the University of Cambridge, used a brain-machine interface to train a group of 10 individuals to control a robotic arm with their brain. They found that a patient tried to control the prosthetic by associating the movement with their missing arm. It increased their pain, but training them to associate the movement of the prosthetic with the unaffected hand decreased their pain. Next. Sebelumnya dulu. Okay. The result report in the journal Nature Communication demonstrate that in patients with chronic pain associated with amputation or nerve injury, there are crosswires in the part of the brain associated with sensation and movement, and that by mending that description, the pain can be treated. The finding could also be applied to those with other forms of chronic pain, including pain due to arthritis. Approximately 5,000 amputations carried out in the UK every year, and those with type 1 or type 2 diabetes are at particular risk of needing an amputation. In most cases, individuals who have had a hand or arm amputated or who have had severe nerve injuries, which result in a loss of sensation in their hand, continue to feel the existence of the affected hand as if it were still here. Between 15 and 18% of these patients suffer with chronic pain in the phantom hand known as phantom limb pain. Even though the hand is gone, people with phantom limb pain still feel like there's a hand there. It basically feels painful, like a burning or hypersensitive type of pain, and conventional painkiller are ineffective in treating it, said study co-author Dr. Ben Seymour, a neuroscience based in Cambridge Department of Engineering. We want to see if we could come up with an engineering-based treatment as opposed to a drug-based treatment. Next. A popular theory of the cause of phantom limb is fault wiring of the sensomotor cortex, the part of the brain that is responsible for processing sensory input and executing movement. In other words, there is a mismatch between a movement and the perception of the movement. In the study, Seymour and his colleagues, led by Takufumi Yanagisawa from Osaka University, used a brain-machine interface to decode the neural activity of the mental action needed from a patient to move their phantom hand, and then convert the decoded phantom hand movement into that robotic neuroprosthetic using artificial intelligence technique. We found that better their affect side of the brain got it using the robotic arm, the worse their pain got, said Yanagisawa. The movement part of the brain is working fine, but they are not getting sensory feedback. There's a discrepancy there. The research then altered their technique to train the wrong side of the brain. For example, a patient who was missing their left arm was trained to move the prosthetic arm by decoding movement associated with their right arm, or vice versa. When they were trained in the counterintuitive technique, the patient found that their pain significantly decreased as they learned to control the arm in this way. It takes a fatigue of the plasticity, the ability of the brain to restructure and learn new things. of the sensomotor cortex, showing a clear link between plasticity and pain. Although the results are promising, Seymour warns that the effects are temporary and a large, expensive piece of medical equipment to be effective. However, he believed that a treatment based on their technique could be available within 5 to 10 years. Ideally, we'd like to see something that people could have at home, or that they could incorporate with physio treatment, he said. But the result demonstrate that combining old technique with new technologies is a promising avenue for treating pain, and 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 important are for future UK-Japan research collaboration.
Simple present. Definition from simple present. Present tense is a form of tense that is used to ask about fact, habits, event, activities, and so on that are happening at this time. Present tense is also used to ask about a fact or something that happens repeatedly. This form of the verb is most often used in English. At Adverbs of times that are usually used in simple present tense is every day, always is always, often is often, seldom is rarely, never is rarely, sometimes is sometimes, usually is usually, once a week is once a week, once a month is once a month, once a year is once a year.
Formula from simple present tense with the verbal words. For the positive words, the formula is subject plus verb one with es or with s or es plus object. For the negative word, subject plus do or does plus not plus verb one plus object. For the interrogative words, the formula is do or does plus subject plus verb one plus object. For non-verbal words, uh, with the positive word, the formula is subject plus to be plus complement. For the negative, subject plus to be plus not plus complement. For the interrogative, to be plus subject plus complement. Next. Note 1. The rules of using do or does. Do digunakan ketika subjeknya itu adalah they, we, I, you. Sedangkan does digunakan ketika subjeknya he, she, it, name of people, or things. The rules of using to be is digunakan jika subjeknya she, he, it. To be am digunakan ketika subjeknya I, dan to be are digunakan ketika subjeknya you, we, they. Third, giving s or es in the verb must pay attention to the relationship between the subject and the verb itself. In English, it is called a subject-verb agreement. Pay attention to the rules of giving s or es in the verb. without S or ES, ketika subjeknya they, we, are, you. Dengan S atau ES, with S or ES, ketika subjeknya he, she, it, name of people or things. Next.
Next is time signal. Always artinya selalu, as a rule, biasanya atau lazimnya, generally itu biasanya, umumnya, normally itu artinya biasanya, often itu seringkali, never itu tidak pernah, regularly itu secara tetap, sometimes itu kadang-kadang, seldom itu jarang, steadily selalu terus-menerus, frequently itu seringkali, every day itu tiap hari, every other day itu 2 hari sekali atau berselang sehari. Every Sunday, setiap hari, itu setiap hari Minggu. Every week, itu setiap minggu, setiap pekan. Now and then, itu kadang-kadang. On and off, itu kadang-kadang juga. Once in a while, sekali-kali atau kadang-kadang. Once a week, itu sekali seminggu. Next. Oke. Present simple spelling rules most protects itu is in the third person singular. Jadi saat kita menyebutkan untuk orang ketiga itu he, she, it, itu ada perubahan teman-teman di tambahan seperti ss tuh is, terus ada ce dan o dan x. Nah itu ada perubahan teman-teman. Contohnya seperti yang di bawah itu number pertama, number one itu I miss karena huruf akhirnya itu s, itu he misses tambah jadi es. Dan contoh yang kedua itu I finish, he finishes, tinggal tambah sama s. Lalu lanjut yang ketiga I watch, he watches, terus I mix, he mix, dan the five is I go, he goes. Tinggal ditambahkan aja teman-teman. Lalu ada consonant. Consonant itu adalah huruf mati. Itu bukan huruf vokal, itu kebalikan huruf vokal. Kalau huruf vokal itu vowel itu ada di a, i, u, e, o atau i, u, i, o. Itu huruf vokal. Untuk consonant ini plus y. Nah, itu plus y. Jadi diganti yes gitu. Contohnya seperti tadi itu nomor utama itu ada I study. Itu kan ujungnya y dan kebetulan itu huruf consonant. Karena selain huruf a, i, u, e, o. Jadi he studies, dan nomor kedua itu I cry, he cries, karena konsonannya itu R atau R. Lalu yang terakhir itu ada a vowel plus Y. Ini huruf vokal teman-teman, huruf vokal itu melambangkan vokal sendiri. Kalau di bahasa Indonesia itu ada A, I, U, E, O. Begitupun dalam bahasa Inggris. Bedanya ini tambah ujungnya itu S teman-teman. Contohnya seperti I play, itu jadi he plays. Karena kenapa? Itu huruf vokalnya itu A atau E dan plus Y. Jadi he plays. Next.